She wrote a kid's book about grief after poisoning her husband, the Kouri Richins story. Before we dive in, kindly hit the subscribe button and let us know where you are watching from in the comment. She held the book in her hands as if it were a lifeline. Soft pastel colors, gentle illustrations of a boy and his father, angel wings, a sky that seemed to glow. The title read, "Are You With Me?" On a local Utah talk show, Kouri Richins spoke quietly, carefully. She told the host she wrote it for her sons, to help them understand grief, to help them feel their dad was still present, even though he's gone. Her voice was calm, wise even, the soft mother, the grieving widow. Nothing about her public image suggested danger. But behind those pages, prosecutors say, lay a far darker story. Kouri Richins lived in a mountain town called Kamas, Utah, not far from Park City. She was a real estate agent. She flipped houses. She had hustle. She was ambitious. She was a mom, 3 young boys. Her husband, Eric Richins, was 39 when he died. He ran a masonry business, stonework. He built things with his hands. Friends said he was reliable, hardworking, family man. They married in 2013, according to court filings. Over the years, they built a life together, home, business, kids. But to investigators, that life held deeper fractures. Long before Eric's death, according to prosecutors, Kouri began making secret financial moves. Between 2015 and 2017, she allegedly bought 4 life insurance policies on Eric's life, without his knowledge. The total? Nearly $2 million in benefits. That's not a small thing. That's not something a loving spouse forgets to tell her partner about. Investigators argue she planned ahead, decades before. There were other red flags, too. According to charging documents, Eric found out later about major financial decisions she made without telling him. He later met with a divorce attorney and an estate planner by October 2020, reportedly because he discovered she had tapped into his accounts, used his credit cards, and made heavy withdrawals. To prosecutors, this wasn't just grief. This was a plan. Then came February 14, 2022, Valentine's Day. According to the investigation, Kouri made Eric a sandwich. Not just any sandwich. One laced with fentanyl, they allege. After he ate it, he became very ill. Breaking out in hives, having trouble breathing, he grabbed their child's EpiPen. Used it. He took Benadryl. He blacked out, according to reports. Friends say that, afterward, Eric told them what he believed. "I think my wife was trying to poison me." Prosecutors argue that this wasn't an accident. It was a test, a first attempt. Some say opioids like fentanyl can cause allergic reactions, like hives, in high doses. But to authorities, that sandwich wasn't just a mistake. It was part of the plan. A few weeks later, the stakes grew even higher. On March 3, 2022, Kouri called 911 in the middle of the night. She claimed she had made her husband a drink to celebrate, a mixed vodka cocktail. She said they even took a shot together and used a THC gummy. She left briefly to comfort a child who was having nightmares, she said. When she returned, she told dispatchers she found Eric cold to the touch, lying at the foot of their bed. Paramedics arrived. They tried life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead soon after. The medical examiner ran toxicology. The result was shocking. 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his blood. That's not a small miscalculation. That's a huge, deadly amount. Roughly a year later, March 2023, Kouri self-published the children's book, Are You With Me? The message was tender, emotional, healing. A boy misses his dad, but the dad's spirit is with him. In everything, when he plays soccer, when he walks through the day, when he closes his eyes at night. A presence that comforts, that reassures. Kouri dedicated the book to Eric. To my amazing husband and a wonderful father. She promoted it publicly on TV and radio. She said her intention was to help her boys process their loss. She told a local station, "I just wanted some story to read to my kids at night, and I just could not find anything." She even planned sequels, she said. To many, she was the perfect grieving widow, writing a heartfelt book. turning pain into meaning. Investigators, however, saw something else. They saw planning. They saw financial motive. They saw possible deception. According to prosecutors, she didn't just passively grieve. She aggressively covered her tracks. She allegedly asked for stronger fentanyl from a drug dealer. In messages, she allegedly requested some of the Michael Jackson stuff, a reference investigators say to very potent fentanyl. One unnamed acquaintance, identified by authorities, told investigators they sold fentanyl to her more than once. They said she paid $900 for about 15 to 30 pills. It's not just the drug buy. There are also allegations of forged documents, mortgage fraud, insurance fraud. According to new charges, she faces multiple counts: mortgage fraud, money laundering, communications fraud, forgery, issuing bad checks. Prosecutors now argue she was drowning in debt, millions of dollars. They claim she believed that if her husband died, she could inherit his business under their prenuptial agreement. To them, this was not only about loss, it was about profit. Unsurprisingly, Kouri denies the charges. In early court hearings, her attorney Sky Lazaro said the prosecution's case was largely circumstantial. She argued they must prove she obtained the drugs, administered them, and knew what she was doing. Her defense also pointed out, no fentanyl pills were ever found at their home after the death. When she was arrested, May 8, 2023, she pled not guilty to all charges: aggravated murder and multiple drug counts. Her family defended her, too. They said she wasn't manipulating grief, that she genuinely loved her boys, that she wrote her book out of real, raw pain. Her mother reportedly said she could not kill anyone. Her story, to many, was a portrait of a flawed but caring mother, not a calculated killer. The case exploded in the media. For some, it felt like a twisted scandal. A mother writes about grief while being accused of orchestrating it. News outlets covered the horrifying contrast. A book about a dad watching over his boys from heaven, allegedly written by the woman who just killed him. Critics called it chilling. Others called it heartbreaking. Social media buzzed. In court filings, prosecutors said that in the months before Eric died, marital disputes flared. The couple argued about a mansion, one that Kouri bought. They say she was desperate to flip the property, make a profit. Her alleged financial misdeeds and drug purchases gave motive. Her book gave her cover. Here's where things get deeply unsettling. Kouri's book, Are You With Me?, isn't cold or distant. It is loving, tender, comforting. The illustrations: soft clouds, starry skies, a father guiding his child. Pages that many grieving families might cling to. But prosecutors argue the book was part of a narrative, a performance, a way to cement her grieving mom image while she faced serious accusations. To the outside world, she was a widow, a mother, a healer. But in court, prosecutors paint her as a schemer, someone who meticulously laid the groundwork for her husband's death. That contrast, the loving mom versus the calculating suspect, is what makes this story so deeply chilling. We introduce to a woman who seems gentle, grieving, and kind. A mother who wrote a book to soothe her kids. A widow in pain. But underneath, financial secrets, drug purchases, life insurance, and more. We don't yet know everything. We don't know who is telling the truth. It's late, quiet. In the Richins' home, everything seems still, but something in the air is charged. Not ordinary grief, something lethal. It's March 3rd, 2022, a night that will come to define everything. At 3:21 a.m., dispatchers in Summit County get a call. The voice is Kouri Richins. She sounds panicked, shaky. He's cold to the touch. He's not breathing. Please hurry. She tells them she woke up, found him lying on the floor by the bed. Her husband, Eric, unresponsive. She says she made him a cocktail earlier, a mixed vodka drink, a Moscow Mule, to celebrate. She claims she left the bedroom because their child was having nightmares. She went to the child's room to comfort them. Then, she says, she returned to the bedroom and found Eric cold, lifeless. Paramedics arrive. They attempt CPR. They work as fast as they can. But they realize something is deeply wrong. An autopsy is performed. The Office of the Medical Examiner (OME) runs toxicology tests. The results are devastating. Fentanyl intoxication is the cause of death. Not just any fentanyl. This is illicit, non-medical grade fentanyl according to their findings. And the levels? The OME reports 15 nanograms per milliliter of fentanyl in his blood. That is about 5 times what is considered a lethal dose. They also found an enormous amount in his stomach fluid, 20,000 nanograms per milliliter, which strongly suggests he ingested it orally. There was another drug, too. Quetiapine, a sedating medication often used for sleep or psychiatric conditions, appeared in his gastric fluid at about 16,000 nanograms per milliliter. According to court documents, Kouri told law enforcement she had a prescription for quetiapine. Prosecutors pieced together a chilling theory: planning and acquisition. They allege Kouri didn't just get fentanyl once. She arranged for it. According to court filings, a person identified as CL bought 15 to 30 round, light green-blue fentanyl pills from a supplier. CL then delivered these pills directly to Kouri in a driveway in Heber City. Prosecutors interpret this as a deliberate, hands-on operation, not a casual, thrill-seeking drug buy. Administration. On the night of March 3rd, Kouri allegedly gave Eric a drink, the Moscow Mule she later admitted to making. Based on the toxicology, the fentanyl was ingested. Investigators suggest this was not an accident. A dose of about 5 times lethal, carefully calculated. Motive. Prosecutors argue there was a financial motive. Kouri had taken out multiple life insurance policies on Eric, 4 policies between 2015 to 2017, worth nearly $2 million. They further claim she made massive financial moves without his knowledge, withdrawing $100,000 from his accounts, running up credit card debt, misusing funds. Eric, they say, discovered some of these moves and met with a divorce lawyer in October 2020. In court filings, a judge said prosecutors presented probable cause that Kouri had significant financial incentive. Under terms of their prenuptial agreement, she would benefit more if he died than if they divorced. But that's not all. Investigators also analyzed Kouri's phone. They found a series of troubling web searches that prosecutors say are deeply incriminating. Here are some examples. If someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as? Death certificate says pending. Will life insurance still pay? How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely. Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? These are not harmless curiosities. Prosecutors argue they align with someone planning a crime, not grieving. Prosecutors also bring up an earlier incident, February 14, 2022, Valentine's Day. They allege that Kouri attempted to poison Eric before the fatal night. According to their case, she made him a sandwich that day, allegedly laced with fentanyl. Eric became very ill, broke out in hives, struggled to breathe. He used their child's EpiPen and drank Benadryl. Afterward, friends say Eric told them, "I think my wife was trying to poison me." If this first incident was real, a test run. Prosecutors suggest it helped her refine her method for March. Kouri's defense doesn't accept the prosecution's version. Key points of her defense. No drugs found in the home. They argue that after Eric's death, investigators found no fentanyl pills, no drug paraphernalia in the Richins home. Her version of the night. She told investigators she and Eric were celebrating a real estate sale. She admitted to drinking with him a shot, a Moscow Mule, and she said he had eaten a THC gummy. According to her, after making him the drink, she went to sleep in one of their son's rooms because the child had nightmares. She says she returned around 3 a.m., found Eric, and then called 911 immediately. Housekeeper's credibility questioned. A key prosecution witness, identified only as CL, claims to have supplied fentanyl to Kouri, but her defense calls her motive into question. She faces her own legal trouble, and her cooperation may be self-serving. Searches is not equal to guilt. The defense argues that someone grieving, who knows investigators will be involved, might search things like how death certificates work or what life insurance pays. They deny it proves intent to kill. What really happened that night feels like a collision of two stories. Prosecutors say there was careful planning. They argue Kouri bought fentanyl, coordinated deliveries, administered it in a drink, and achieved a lethal dose, all while creating a cover story about a celebration and grief. The defense paints a different picture. A tragic overdose, a loving but flawed widow, someone who was trying to help her kids heal, not kill her husband. The moment she left their bedroom to comfort her child, according to her, could have been genuine. The 3 a.m. return, the shock, the call to 911. To her, it was real grief. To prosecutors, those same facts are part of a sinister plan. This isn't just about forensic evidence. It's about betrayal, manipulation, and raw human emotion. For the audience, there's a painful paradox. The same woman who wrote a book to help her children process death may be accused of orchestrating that very death. The financial motive adds another layer. Life insurance, debt, and secret policies suggest that what looks like a tragedy might have been more than that. The internet searches, so clinical, so calculating, make her seem like someone strategizing, not someone shattered by loss. But then, her version. Fear, panic, a mother who returned in the dark to a grim scene that hits like a heartbreak. A judge has ruled there is enough probable cause for charges. Aggravated murder, possession with intent to distribute, and attempted murder tied to the February poisoning attempt. Bail was denied. Prosecutors and defense lawyers previewed their cases in a hearing. Investigators, private detectives, forensic accountants painted a portrait of Kouri as methodical, not mad. Eric's family spoke. His sister, Amy, read a victim impact statement. She described betrayal and terror. She said Kouri paraded around portraying herself as a grieving widow while profiting from his death. Meanwhile, Kouri's attorneys fought back. They called the evidence circumstantial, challenged the credibility of witnesses, and emphasized that no trace of fentanyl was found in their home. This isn't just another murder by poison case. Several elements make it especially gripping and horrifyingly complex. Parenthood and innocence versus guilt. For more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. In the quiet mountain air of Kamas, Utah, the Richins marriage was falling apart long before the fatal night. The story prosecutors weave is not just one of grief and loss. It's a darker tale of desperation, ambition, and financial collapse. Long before Eric's death, Kouri's real estate business, Kouri Richins Realty, was under heavy strain. According to testimony, by late 2021, the company was deeply in debt, far more than its modest revenue could cover. Prosecutors say that in the 5 months before Eric died, her business made only about $170,000, but its monthly debt service was more than $250,000. To cover ongoing obligations, she allegedly borrowed from over 25 different lenders. The business was bleeding cash, yet she continued adding to her burden. In November 2021, she bought 3 more properties, using nearly $2.9 million in hard money loans. Prosecutors argue she took this enormous risk knowing she could not possibly manage it. By the time of Eric's death, her company's debt had spiraled dangerously high, estimated by prosecutors to be upwards of $1.8 million owed to lenders. The day after Eric died, that figure allegedly jumped to almost $5 million. The prosecutors' theory hinges significantly on life insurance. They allege that Kouri secretly bought multiple life insurance policies on Eric over the years, policies he wasn't fully aware of. According to court filings, she secured 4 or 5 policies between 2015 to 2017, with death benefits totaling nearly $2 million. This wasn't her only attempt. In early 2022, just before the fatal incident, she allegedly applied for yet another policy of $100,000 on Eric. Prosecutors claim she falsified parts of the application, including a forged signature, to make it happen. In her mind, according to prosecutors, Kouri believed she stood to gain massively if Eric died. Her understanding of their prenuptial agreement plays a crucial role in the alleged motive. By the terms of the prenup, she would inherit not just the insurance money, but also his business, but only if he died while they remained married. Yet things weren't as she assumed. Court records suggest that Eric had restructured his estate just months before his death. In October 2020, he met with an estate planner and set up a living trust, putting his sister as its trustee. At the same time, he changed the beneficiary on a $500,000 insurance policy, replacing Kouri with his sister. Prosecutors argue she was unaware of these changes. Or perhaps, they say, she refused to believe them. Beyond insurance, the prosecution paints a picture of a woman who allegedly manipulated financial documents, forged signatures, and lied to lenders to prop up her failing real estate empire. Court documents claim Kouri submitted false bank statements when applying for mortgages. According to one mortgage application, she showed an account balance much higher than actual, despite the real business account being deeply in the red. On multiple occasions, she is said to have forged documents, including signatures. Investigators also allege she issued a series of bad checks through her company and then laundered money between various accounts to hide the trail. In one case, she reportedly accepted $45,000 from a friend as a down payment on a property, but instead used it to offset business debts and operating costs. These weren't just small miscalculations. By 2025, prosecutors filed 26 new felony counts related to these activities, including mortgage fraud, money laundering, forgery, and issuing bad checks. One of the most dramatic pieces in this financial puzzle is the Midway mansion. According to a forensic accountant's testimony, Kouri contracted to buy this unfinished property in December 2021, using $2.9 million in high-interest loans, even though her business was already deep in debt and had no clear path to repay or renovate the mansion. The timing is striking. The closing date for the mansion was scheduled for March 4, 2022, the very day after Eric died. But interestingly, she didn't finalize the deal before his death. The closing actually happened the next day. Prosecutors highlight this as a potential sign that she was making aggressive, risky bets, and that she believed she would soon have the financial means, via insurance or his business, to carry them through. Testimony before the court painted a vivid picture of escalating financial pressure. Forensic accountants testified that she was making large payments to lenders between June 2021 and February 2022, over $320,000 in some months. But the payments began to shift. Fewer funds, more bounce transactions, returned payments. By her own documents, prosecutors allege she was teetering on financial collapse. It wasn't just about business losses. There were unpaid loans, mounting mortgage debt, and a real estate empire funded by high-risk lenders. Behind the scenes, there was more than debt. There was mistrust. Investigators argue that Eric grew suspicious of Kouri's financial behavior. In court documents, they claim he confronted her about missing money, unusual transactions, and the loans she was taking out. Not only that, but, worried about her access to his wealth, he restructured his estate. He met with a divorce attorney and hinted that something was wrong. Then, in estate planning documents, he created a living trust, putting his sister in control, and stripped Kouri from certain benefits. Prosecutors see this as a turning point. To them, it's not a mere marital rift. It's a motive. They argue that Kouri believed she would get a massive payout when he died. But when he changed the estate, it threatened her assumed path to inheritance. One of the most chilling parts of this case is the dramatic tension between Kouri's public image and the financial pressures she allegedly operated under. On one side, a grieving widow. She writes a children's book about grief, regularly speaks of how much she loved her husband, and presents herself as a mother doing her best for her sons. On the other side, a businesswoman drowning in debt, allegedly forging documents, pushing risky loans, and wagering everything on her husband's life ending. Not just dying, but dying in a way that would benefit her financially. Prosecutors argue this isn't just ambition gone wrong. It's premeditated financial murder. Kouri's legal team, for its part, disputes many of these allegations. Her defense attorneys argue that while finances were difficult, it doesn't mean she planned to kill Eric. They challenge the forensics, the accounting, and the interpretation of her actions. They also push back hard on the idea that she knowingly manipulated insurance. According to them, some policies were misunderstood, or she was under false beliefs about her rights. They argue that proxies, errors, and confusion, not criminal intent, explain many of the red flags. Still, prosecutors believe they have built a solid financial motive. a woman who stood to gain millions, who was under extreme debt, who allegedly made high-risk property deals, and who allegedly broke or bent the law to keep her business afloat. This chapter in the Kouri Richins case is a crucial one, because it shows why prosecutors believe she killed Eric. It's not just about a death. It's about desperation. She was drowning in debt. The financial pressure was real and growing. Opportunity, insurance policies stacked in her favor. Real estate deals she believed would pay off if Eric were gone. Risk. She allegedly bet big, high-interest loans. The courtroom becomes a war zone. This isn't just about death. It's about money, betrayal, power, and public image. As Kouri Richins' case moves through the legal system, both sides sharpen their knives. In August 2024, the first serious legal showdown began. A preliminary hearing, not the full murder trial, but a critical gatekeeper. The judge must decide whether there's enough evidence for the case to go to trial. From the stand came forensic accountants, detectives, and digital experts. These were not emotional friends or grieving family, these were specialists. They laid out financial records, text message analysis, and her business's balance sheets. But two key witnesses never made it to testify, friends of her husband. Prosecutors had hoped to call Eric's close companions, the ones who allegedly heard him claim his wife tried to kill him in February 2022, weeks before his death. The defense challenged their testimony, calling it hearsay, and after a tense discussion, the judge pulled them. The hearing also revealed cracks in the prosecution's case. The defense questioned the credibility of the housekeeper, CL, the person prosecutors claim sold Kouri the fentanyl. According to defense attorneys, she may have motives to lie, cooperation, deals, her own legal pressure. Still, when all the experts left the stand, the judge ruled there was enough probable cause. Kouri would go to trial. Her fate now hinged on how the full courtroom drama played out. As the legal battle cooled after the preliminary hearing, prosecutors dropped a legal bombshell. In June 2025, they filed 26 new felony charges related to financial misconduct. These weren't small side allegations. These charges included mortgage fraud, money laundering, forgery, issuing bad checks, communications fraud, and a pattern of unlawful activity. Prosecutors argue these financial crimes aren't collateral, they're central. These alleged schemes provide motive. Why Kouri would allegedly plan something terrible for Eric. According to them, she manipulated documents, hid debt, and lied to lenders. Defense lawyers fired back hard. They pointed to timing. Why bring 26 counts now, right before the murder trial? They claim it's a tactic to strengthen a weak case. They say some of these accusations could unfairly prejudice jurors, painting Kouri as a lifelong criminal instead of focusing on whether she killed her husband. A judge partially agreed. In October 2025, prosecutors amended the murder case charges. Some financial counts were trimmed or removed. Now, in her murder trial, she faces 2 counts of insurance fraud and 1 of forgery, but not the full slate of 26 fraud charges. This back and forth isn't just legal technicalities, it's a psychological battle. Prosecutors want jurors to see financial desperation. Defense wants jurors to see a grieving mother, not a fraudster. Kouri has been in custody since her arrest in May 2023. Over multiple hearings, she tried to win release on bail, but every time the court said no. In one recent hearing, her defense argued a star witness recanted. They claimed the key supplier, Robert Crozier, the man prosecutors said sold fentanyl to the housekeeper, now says he never gave her fentanyl. If true, defense argued that would tear apart the prosecution's narrative. But the judge rejected bail anyway. He pointed not to one piece of evidence, but to a pile: the housekeeper's prior testimony, the money trail, and the financial motive. He said the evidence was too substantial to release her now. This ruling sends a strong message. The court sees her as a serious risk, not just in terms of flight, but in terms of guilt. Beyond the charges and the bail fights, there's a bigger war, over which evidence the jury will see. In early 2025, Kouri's defense filed motions to suppress critical evidence. They argue certain items are illegally obtained or unfairly prejudicial. Among the contested items, her phone records and a worn, orange notebook taken from her jail cell. Detectives and forensic experts testified in hearings about exactly how they accessed her data. The defense pushed hard, asking the judge to throw out anything that could bias jurors or violate her rights. These motions are high stakes. If successful, they could strip key pieces of the prosecution's case: digital messages, incriminating searches, possibly even clues about her alleged planning. In court, Kouri's public persona is under scrutiny. The housekeeper, CL, remains central. She's accused of supplying fentanyl. Her testimony is deeply contested. Defense questions her credibility, suggesting she's cooperating for her own benefit. Prosecutors argue her account is consistent and vital. The defense also accuses Eric's family of financial bias. In court filings, Kouri's lawyers allege that her in-laws, who benefit from Eric's trust, have played a role in shaping the prosecution's narrative. Meanwhile, prosecutors emphasize her alleged pattern of fraud. The 26 new charges, they argue, show she was manipulative long before his death, not the innocent widow she portrays. In their motions, defense attorneys argue the surge of charges right before the trial amounts to prosecutorial overreach. They claim it's designed to terrify her into a bad deal or a quick plea. From the prosecution's side, they counter that these charges are legitimate and necessary. They want the jury to see a full portrait, not just a lethal poisoning, but a web of lies, money, and risk. As both sides sharpen their strategy, three key themes emerge in the courtroom battle. Motive. Prosecutors lean hard into the financial motive: debt, secret policies, high-risk loans. Defense wants to narrow the narrative: grief, mismanagement, not murder for gain. Witness credibility. The housekeeper's testimony is central but shaky. Crozier's recantation, if true, could undercut a major piece of prosecution story. Defense also challenges forensic experts and accountants. Are their findings really damning or open to interpretation? Evidence suppression. If key digital evidence is suppressed, the prosecution's case could be weakened. The fight over phone data, notebooks, and search history is more than technical. It's about whether the jury sees the alleged plan or sees chaos. Beyond the legal maneuvers lies a human conflict. How will a jury make sense of Kouri's story? Will jurors see her as the grieving mother who lost her husband, wrote a book to help her children, and now fights for her freedom? Or will they see the architect of a conspiracy, deeply in debt, willing to take extreme risks, and allegedly take a life for financial stability? Her defense team also raised concerns about jury bias. With new, very public financial charges, they worry that potential jurors may view her not just as an accused killer, but as a fraudster. Prosecutors argue the charges should stay. They say the financial crimes show why she might have killed. They are not character assassination but context. Chapter 4 is pivotal. It's where the crime story stops being just about a poisoning and becomes a full-blown court drama. The preliminary hearing showed that the state has built a case with experts and financial evidence. The new 26 felonies dramatically raise the stakes and deepen the alleged motive. The defense's suppression motions highlight a dangerous gamble. Go too far and risk cutting off what could be their strongest defense. Let it stand, and the jury gets the full picture. The no bail rulings and witness recantations signal a high-tension trial ahead. By now, the world is watching. The soft-spoken mom who wrote a children's book about grief is no longer just a figure of sympathy. She stands accused of orchestrating the death of her husband. The courtroom drama is almost here. Everything has been pushed back. Kouri's trial, which some thought would begin earlier, has been delayed. Her lawyers appealed a major ruling. They argued that she should be tried not just in Summit County but by a broader jury pool. They said Summit County residents might already have preconceptions about her. The judge denied that request, and the trial was rescheduled. Now, jury selection is set to begin on February 10, 2026, with a full 5-week trial running from February 23rd to March 26th. That timeline gives both sides more time to prepare, but the delay also ramps up the tension. For Kouri, nearly 3 years in custody by the time of the trial is a heavy burden. When the trial finally arrives, it won't just be about murder. There are still serious financial accusations on the table, though some have been trimmed. prosecutors amended the charges. The scope has narrowed, but several key felonies remain live in her murder case. Now, in the homicide case, she faces 2 counts of insurance fraud, 1 count of forgery, and, of course, aggravated murder and attempted aggravated murder, both first-degree felonies. At the same time, a separate but related case is growing. Prosecutors filed 26 new felony charges tied strictly to financial crimes: alleged mortgage fraud, money laundering, bad checks, and a pattern of unlawful activity. That broad set of allegations paints a picture of long-term financial manipulation, much more than a moment of bad judgment. Why the state feels confident? Motive is clear. Prosecutors argue that Kouri's financial situation, her heavy debt, risky loans, and insurance policies she stood to benefit from, provides a powerful reason why she might have deliberately planned Eric's death. Overlapping narrative. The financial crimes can feed into the murder story. If she was allegedly forging documents, lying to lenders, and engaging in fraud, the prosecution can use that to show consciousness of guilt, that she wasn't just careless but calculating. Witnesses and evidence. They have forensic accountants, digital experts, evidence of her search history, and testimonies that could tie many pieces together in front of a jury. But their case is not without risk. The timing of the 26 new charges has raised defense eyebrows. Her lawyers argue it's a strategic move by prosecutors, piling on to influence the jury pool ahead of trial. Some of the financial allegations were separated from the murder case by court order, which means not every alleged wrongdoing will be directly in front of the jury at the same time. And there's still a real battle over what evidence will be allowed, what jurors will hear, and how prejudicial some of the financial claims might be. Kouri's attorneys are playing hard on several fronts. Fight on venue. They tried to move her trial outside of Summit County to get a more neutral jury but failed. That denied motion is a key part of her appeal and pretrial strategy. Suppress evidence. Her team continues to push back on crucial pieces. Phone data, jailhouse notebooks, and other materials they say could unfairly influence jurors. Witness credibility. The defense has already spotlighted a recanting star witness, someone prosecutors claimed supplied fentanyl. Now, they argue that if that person recanted, the foundation of the poisoning conspiracy weakens significantly. Attack the financial narrative. Kouri's lawyers maintain that while her business had trouble, it doesn't prove she murdered for money. They argue that the financial issues are being exaggerated or misinterpreted, and that some allegations are unrelated or unfairly tied to the murder. Public image. Part of her defense is restoring the mother and author narrative. She maintains that she loved Eric, that she wasn't a monster, but someone under pressure, and that her book truly was about grief. The upcoming trial is more than just a legal fight. It's a showdown of narratives. If the prosecution wins, they will have shown how a seemingly gentle mother allegedly leveraged grief, life insurance, and drugs to commit a cold, calculated crime. That could be one of the most chilling elements. Not just a murder, but a betrayal of love and family. If Kouri is acquitted, she will reclaim a powerful narrative. That she was a grieving widow, publicly vocal about her loss, but privately suffering under financial strain, yet innocent of the worst accusation. Either way, the children, the community, and the court of public opinion will be paying close attention. The book she wrote, the love she professed, all of it hangs in the balance. During the trial, some moments promise to be especially tense and emotionally charged. Opening statements. Prosecution could open by painting Kouri as a picture-perfect mom hiding a dark plan. Defense might begin by reminding jurors of her book, her grief, her role as a mother. Witness testimonies. Key figures like the housekeeper, the alleged drug supplier, and forensic accountants could take the stand. Their consistency, demeanor, and credibility will be under intense scrutiny. Kouri's decision to testify, whether she takes the stand or not, could make or break her public narrative. If she testifies, jurors will weigh her emotional authenticity. If she doesn't, the defense risks missing a chance to humanize her. Cross-examination of financial evidence. This could boil down to whether the jury sees her as a victim of failed business or an architect of fraud. Closing arguments. Prosecution may hammer the pattern. Money, risk, motive. the defense will likely lean into empathy. That grief drove her, not greed. For Kouri, a conviction means life behind bars. First-degree felonies carry severe penalties. She could spend the rest of her life in prison. An acquittal would be more than freedom. It would be public redemption. It would restore her book's meaning, her role as a mother, and her identity to something other than a suspect. For Eric's family, a guilty verdict could finally mean justice. But even then, they'd have to live with the idea that their loved one was poisoned, not by a monster stranger, but by someone he trusted. If she is found not guilty, their grief evolves again, now with loss, but also with doubt and public scrutiny. For the public, this is a deeply layered case. Domestic life, poison, financial collapse, and grief turned into a public book. It's the kind of crime story that forces people to ask, how well do we know someone? It's also a reflection on desperation, what someone might do when cornered financially, socially, emotionally. As the trial approaches, certain questions remain open, and they're what make this case so compelling for a YouTube audience. Did she truly plan this? The prosecution argues yes, but the defense contends she was overwhelmed, not murderous. Viewers will wonder, was this premeditated or tragic misjudgment? Was the fentanyl supply chain real? With the star witness recanting, can the prosecution still reliably prove where she got the drugs? How much will the jury hear about her financial life? The overlap between fraud and murder is central, but will jurors let her financial chaos cloud their judgment of what happened on the night of his death? Will Kouri take the stand? Her testimony could humanize her. For more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.